Hello there folks, welcome back to the Chap's Guide. My name is Ash and I'm your host on this journey through men's style, self-development and personal grooming. Now that journey encompasses both the smart world of men's style and the other side of the coin, where we like to go into nature and the environment around us and enjoy the splendour that the world has to offer. Now on this channel I've reviewed a number of ration packs over the last few years, and today is another adventure into the world of ration packs. Today it's the Spanish Army ration pack, or Spanish Navy, Spanish Air Force, Spanish military. Now you may recall in the past our first ever ration pack challenge was a 24-hour British Army ration pack, and that kind of set the standard, which is really the other ration packs which have followed have tried to achieve but have yet to get there. The second one we tried was a meal from the Lithuanian Army ration pack, which was akin to having a plate full of dog food, but still nutritious and capable of sustaining a man in the field, I have no doubt. Now our last ration pack challenge was the French ration pack, and that was very good. Of course, France, well regarded for its haute cuisine, so you would have expected a very good offering, and indeed they did. But their infrastructure fell somewhat short of the British Army ration pack. I will leave the links to all those previous ration pack challenges in the show notes below. But today, Spanish, and of course Spain, Mediterranean country, famous for its climate and its cuisine as well. So let's see what's in here first. I believe this is a lunch pack, that's what it says on the front anyway, and we will give it a try. But let's see what's inside. Come over here. Okay folks, let's get right to it. The exterior of the pack, which is, I would say, weighs about a kilo. It's all fully wrapped in, as you can see, sort of green plastic. It's got the colours of Spain on the front, Spain military emblem, and on the front it just says Armed Forces, Individual Combat Rations, Lunch. That is all I know. So let us open this fella up and see what's inside. We are embarking upon this adventure together here today, because I really don't know what we've got. So inside that protective plastic packaging, we have a cardboard box which opens rather easily. Inside, some instructions. What does it tell us? Ration pack, combat, as one would imagine. Oh, here we go. It has some English on here. Just some advisory notes. If it smells bad or if there are bulges in it, don't eat it, basically. Okay, I agree entirely. So let's see what we have here. Soup of some kind. I'm going to guess it's some sort of dehydrated soup. Yeah, they normally are. It doesn't give us much of an indication of what's in there, but probably not going to try that. And what we can see immediately, lots of tins in here, which is probably why this weighed so heavily in my hand. So for lunch today, we are going to have nice, easy to open tin. What does it tell us is in there? Oh my word, it's entirely in Spanish, and it doesn't really tell me what's in there. Oh, here we go. Carne. Oh, good grief. My Spanish is terrible. I think that's some sort of meat. We will have to see. This is really going to be an adventure when we open these things. Okay, so another tin. This one is labelled as, oh God, the labelling, cocktail, fruit cocktail. Dessert is sorted anyway. That's a huge relief. What else have we got here? Pate. Pimenta pate. I can read that one. What else have we got? Here we go. Atún blanco. No idea. No idea. It reminds me of sort of sardines or something like that. We will find out soon. So let's see what comes with lunch, and we'll know what to expect. So what have we got here? Oh, there we go. Some water purification tablets. Dental cream. Oh, good grief. Toothpaste. A little sachet of toothpaste. Isn't that remarkable? Haven't had one of those in one of these before. So vitamin C. So a couple of sachets of vitamin C. 4 sachets of vitamin C. I believe this is like a rehydration drink. I've been led to understand. So this is, you know, when you've been exerting yourself and you need to replace the minerals and such in your body which have been lost through perspiration. That's where we go. Good, lots of those in there. Now this looks like a heat source, a little hexamine heater, which is interesting. Little hexamine blocks, efficiently packed. Well, the obligatory matches to go with the hexamine heater. Nice and easy to understand. What have we got here? No idea. 2 little tablets of some kind. I doubt it's another water purification one. Doesn't really explain what's in there. Could be. It says de agua, which is water, isn't it? So, don't know. Couldn't tell you. What have we got here? Oh, good grief. It really doesn't explain what it is. Let's just dive in and see what's in there, shall we? It could be a sweetie. Could be something. Could be... I think it's a stick of toothpaste. Chewing gum. Little stick of chewing gum for after lunch. What a cunning plan. Very frugal, but it's there. Got to have a napkin, haven't you, when you're dining? And they've given us a little napkin. And there is, I recognise this. I saw this in the French one actually. It's a little metal stove which you will form into the base plate for your heater. So let us get on with lunch because I'm actually rather hungry. So let's see how this all works and see what's actually inside these tins. Right then folks, welcome back. I'm just sorting everything out and looking to see what there is here to eat, opening the containers. As you can see, I've got my Kelly kettle here, boiling some water because I'm going to try that dehydrated soup in a moment. So I am, as usual, going to use my phone to show you what we've got here on the table. So, there's the old Kelly kettle. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with a Kelly kettle, basically in this container here we put water. The water then is in a sort of pocket around the central console or the central area here. As you can see, looking down within, we've just built a little fire in the middle with some sticks that I've just picked up from the area. And that heat going up through the chimney is warming the water, which is already super hot. This is an amazing piece of kit. As you can see, it's just on a little base there, almost boiling already. However, that's not why we're here. We're here to see what's in the Spanish Army ration pack. Now, this is that little hexamine block, as you can see. Pretty interesting. And there's that flat piece of metal which I've formed into a little stove. And then you put your hexamine block there. And then in point of fact, you will then, if you want to heat something up, you can heat your tin on there just like that. As you can see, we've got boiling. Okay, fantastic. Right, let me just put this down. Now, I'm going to get my water, which is freshly boiled, and I'm going to pour it into my container. Let's pop that down there. That's how easy it is with a Kelly kettle. Job is achieved in minutes. Right, so now I've got a mug of hot water, maybe a little bit too much. One thing I noticed in the kit, there's no teas and coffees. There's no drinks other than the vitamin C stuff, which I guess is utilitarian. Another thing I noticed, when I initially said what I thought was disinfectant, I thought it was water purification. It's actually a little sachet full of hand sanitizer, which is, in point of fact, very efficient, you'd have to guess, if you want that. So the little 2 capsules were actually water purifier. Right, there we go. Yes, right. So I've got my mug of hot water. I'm going to add some of the soup, which smells not too bad actually, into that. Not all of it. It's probably designed to make a litre of soup, so I'm just going to put a little bit in there to give me an indication of what the soup should taste like. Let that stir in for a moment. Whilst I'm doing that, I will come over to the camera and I will show you what I've opened already. So this is what's described as pimento. Let's give you a little close-up of that. That's described as pimento pate. Now, pate normally in a ration pack is consumed with crackers or something which are normally provided. There's no crackers or anything like that. It's just literally the tins that you saw. So I'm going to give this a try and see what it's like. Looks all right. This is taking a little chunk out of that. Looks okay on the spoon. Can you see that? Hang on. Let's give it a run. Really nice. Tastes like a fairly good pate, actually. No arguments about that. It would be a good starter to our meal. So, let's try that soup. It's had a time to settle in. It's quite rich. There are lots of bits and pieces floating in there, which suggests that it should be quite flavoursome. Now, in the absence of any tea or coffee provided in the kit, this is my liquid sustenance. It's quite strong flavoured. It's obviously some sort of vegetable soup, and it's got sort of croutons and flecks of vegetable, rehydrated now, floating in it. I've got a few of the croutons there. Do you know what? That's really nice. That would be very warming, and in the absence of a cup of tea, that would certainly be something which would keep you warm on the inside. Inside, or internal radiation. Best way to keep warm. That's really nice. So's the pimento pate. So, time to begin with the main course. Right, on with the meal. So, I have lit the sort of hexamine fuel block there. It took about 4 matches to light, but it did light. So what I'm going to do, oh dear, this is the main course by the look of it. Let me show you what we've got here for a moment before we do anything else. So, let's get the video running. So this is what I've just opened here. And as you can see, it appears to be a meat and vegetable, I don't know, dish of some kind in a jelly. So what I'm going to do, there's the old heat source. I'm just going to pop that on there. Now, I think in the ideal world, as you can see, it's going to warm it up. In the ideal world, what that would generally be likely to be done, we would place that into a mess tin and heat it up perhaps with other things. But just for the purposes of the experiment today, I'm going to do in the very most basic element, no mess tins. Incidentally, there were no knives, forks, spoons, nothing provided with the kit. Now I'm also going to open the other items here. Took about 4 matches to get that going, so it wasn't easy at all. So now I'm going to open this odd shaped thing, which looked like, I have to say, some sort of fish. Not easy to open. Oh yes. So what have we got here? Let me show you. It is fish. Looks like some sort of tuna. Let me show you what we got there. So that's it. That is some sort of fish dish. Looks to be in oil of some kind. So just show you over here. That's still going on rather nicely. And that is our fish dish. So I'm going to put that to one side. Stop that. And our dessert is going to be whatever's in this tin. Shall we open that one? Let's find out what luxuries we've got after dinner. Aha! Thank goodness this looks a bit more inviting and ordinary. So, what we have here is a can full of fruit salad. I can see a cherry, I can see what looks like peaches or something like that. So, pretty solid stuff. So that's the main course. Some sort of meat and vegetable product. We've got some fish to go along with that. And then for dessert, we have got fruit salad. Now, as you can see, our hexamine block is doing its job. It's working quite well. It's quite efficient. It's quite a good hexamine block, albeit it took a bit to get going. So, I don't want to leave that on for too long. As I say, only experimental today. It's warmed it up sufficient for me to pop up here and tell you what it tastes like. So, it tastes of meat, some sort of beef, something of that nature, and you've seen what it looks like close up. Let me dig down in there. It's covered in some sort of loose fluid product. Now, when we recall, or when we're talking about combat food, we always remember that everything that comes in the box can be eaten as is, all right? It is not necessary to cook anything. The idea is these things can be eaten on the go as you are. You may not have access to an opportunity to warm it up, so everything is edible as is. This looks all right, actually. It smells quite meaty. Let's give it a try with some of these peas on there as well. Do you want to see what's about to go in the gob? Can you just get it to focus on that? There we go. Not too exciting, but you know. That's really nice. That tastes like a meat pie, but without any pastry around it. Really nice. Slightly warm. Just started to warm up. So I only had it on there for a couple of minutes, and it had started to do its job. This is too nice to not eat, actually. Yeah. Slow cooked beef with a couple of vegetables thrown in there as well. That reminds me of like a meat pie that I've had anywhere, actually. Very nice. Very nice indeed. I could happily eat that all. Right. But we're not going to. Because we're now going to try the fish. Now, let's have another look at what this says it is. Doesn't actually easily tell me what sort of fish it is. It's full of oil, as you can see. Lots of oil in there. So the fish is packed in oil. Strong smell of like tuna. Let's give it a go. Let me show you it again. What's going in the gob? Can I show you what we got? There we are. Look at that. Nice chunk of flaky fish. Easily identifiable as fish. Tastes like tuna. Tastes like rather nice tuna. That is really pleasant. This would be a sort of fish course if we were thinking this as a lunch, I guess. Not bad. I could happily sit here and eat all that. I've got to say, the French one, I kind of forced it down to a degree because the fanciness of some of the meals, the complexity and the flavours mixed together, they were not altogether pleasant, even though I ate those quite warm. This one, I'm guessing because you're likely to eat it cool, as they are now, really palatable because it's single flavours. That was really good. Really good. Okay. So, hexamine block is still blaring away there. So what we have here is the fruit salad. This will be interesting. So looking inside the salad itself, I can see pieces of pears, peach, and certainly, well, let me demonstrate. There's a single piece of cherry, half a cherry. Can you see that? Not quite, perhaps. There's half a cherry in there. That is the only piece of cherry in there. So it's not cherry heavy, that's fair to say. Well, let's give it a try. I can guess what this is going to taste like. Pretty good. Oh yeah. It's all contained in like a sweet sugar solution. And it's, you know, been imbued with the flavours of the fruit. Piece of the pear. Very nice. Let's try a piece of the peach, or what looks like peach. Really nice. All of the textures that you'd expect and the flavours are present there. So what I'm going to do now, but it's given me some dental cream. That's what it says. Does it say I need to clean my teeth? Let me stand in front of the screen properly for you. I might be wrong. Is it really dental cream? Let's give it a try. It is. It's a mint flavoured jelly. Not bad. Who can argue with that? No. The only thing I haven't tried here is the little stick of chewing gum. It's mint chewing gum. Who can argue? All good stuff. So, let me tidy that away. We'll sit down and we'll have a chat about what my pros and cons and what I think were good there. Alright folks, let's have a discussion, and as we do so, I'm just going to enjoy a little glass of whiskey. A very rare occasion for me to have a drink these days, but I think as we're going to discuss something worthwhile, it's worth doing. So, what was it actually? White and Mackay, so a little Scottish blended whiskey. Very nice. Very nice indeed. So, Spanish Army ration pack. So we started off with the rehydrated soup, which was really good. I enjoyed it. It was meaty. It wasn't meaty. It was vegetable-y. It was flavoursome. There was lots of body to it. It dissolved readily into the hot water, and it was a warming and tasty snack. Then we progressed into lunch itself, and I tried the pimento pate, which was really nice. I'm not a huge fan of pate, but that one had lots of flavour, lots of taste, lots of texture on the tongue. It was enjoyable. I found it somewhat strange there was nothing to put it on. So normally you get crackers or biscuits or something like that with a meal, the carbohydrates basically, but there was nothing. So we just had the pate. Then we progressed into the meal itself, and there were three parts to that really, all in tins. The first thing I opened was the sort of meat pudding type thing, which was beef with peas, and it was in a thick, stodgy gravy. And I have to tell you, it was really enjoyable. It was tasty. The beef was thick and chunky and natural in appearance. And it was, well, you have to take my word for it, it was really tasty. I enjoyed it. After I finished filming earlier, I ate it all and I enjoyed every piece of it. After that, I then tried the fish course, which was again another can of tuna, I'm going to guess. It doesn't say what it was, but I think it was tuna. A tuna steak, which was packed in oil. Yet again, it was tasty. There was texture, there was flavour. It was enjoyable to eat. It wasn't an experience of just getting calories into my body, as often you find with these ration packs. It was actually a flavoursome experience. And then finally, I moved on to the dessert, which was a fruit cocktail in a thick syrup. Now the fruit cocktail was essentially peach and pear with a half of a cherry in there. You know, better than nothing, I guess. But it was, again, exactly what you'd expect. It's like something you'd bought from a supermarket in a tin. It was perfectly adequate for the situation. Then we look at the infrastructure, which was all around it. So the heating pack which comes with it, bearing in mind this is just for lunch, so that's a lunch meal, self-contained. There was a little stovey type thing which you bend into the appropriate shape that you want, and it came with 3 hexamite blocks. and one of them would have been more than sufficient to heat up any one of those tins. So more than enough in there. Of course there were matches, there's a piece of chewing gum, there's some toothpaste, there's some hand sanitizing gel, there were rehydrating powders if you want to, get some more minerals and salts into your body if you're, I don't know, tabbing across the plains or whatever. All in all, I thought the actual content was excellent. The food itself, I thoroughly enjoyed eating in a way which I didn't with my previous experience of the French Army ration pack and the Lithuanian Army ration pack. So interesting, but good flavours. What was lacking, no salt and pepper. There was no flavours, so like in the British one you got a little bottle of Tabasco sauce. There's no eating irons, and by eating irons I mean a knife, a fork, a spoon, nothing at all. In the French one there was a tiny, almost pathetic little plastic spork. This one, nothing at all. So if you're caught out and you've got nothing with you, a knife or anything at all, you're going to be eating this with your fingers, which I don't think is ideal. However, they do give you hand sanitizing gel, so it's not impossible. There's no drinks other than the rehydration drinks, so there was no tea or coffee or anything like that, which was a little disappointing because I was hoping to have a cup of coffee out of it. Not complaining now, I'm having my glass of whiskey, which is really good, really good. So all in all, it's a game of two halves there. The actual products themselves to eat were definitely up there with the best I've had. But the infrastructure around the pack was lacking. There was no carbohydrate, no knives and forks, no drinks, and yeah, that's it really. Other than that, enjoyable. When you weigh it up, I think they provided a pretty good utilitarian luncheon if you're out and about in the woods or on the battlefield or whatever it may be. Now when I weigh it up against the other ones, I'd say the British one clearly is still at the top of the shop. The French one I would have to put in second place because of the infrastructure around it. There were lots of biscuits, there were lots of carbohydrates, but then the two I've just talked about, the British and the French, they're actually 24-hour ration packs. This was just an individual standalone meal. So we can't judge them equally against each other. Particularly as well when you consider, Spain, it is not the wealthiest country in the world. I believe it spends less than a third on its global provision of defence services to say somewhere like the United Kingdom. I believe the UK spends around about 68 to 70 billion pounds a year on defence, and Spain, if I look at my notes, they spend less than 20 billion. 1.4% of their GDP, whereas the UK spends 2.2% of its GDP on defence. So you would expect a far better product from the UK because they're a wealthier nation spending more on defence. That said, the Spanish military and the British Army, both armies, approximately the same size. British military is under 80,000, British Army under 80,000, Spanish Army, I believe, is 76,000. So when it comes to manpower, they're roughly the same size, but expenditure is different. So there we go. I hope you have enjoyed this gallop through the Spanish Army ration pack. For me, as the person eating it, it was an enjoyable experience with the caveats that I've made about some of the things which I think were missing, but the food itself was as good as any of the others. There is another ration pack challenge coming up shortly because I'm delighted to say that one of the viewers, a chap called Joe, has sent me some US Army ration packs, MREs as they call them. And well, when we're talking about defence spending, the US, let's have a look, they spent last year £801 billion on defence. So I have high hopes on the contents of their ration pack. I expect it to be a world leader, and that's going to be interesting. Now, if you're from a country that I haven't mentioned or tried your ration pack, I'd love to give it a try. If you could get one to me, I would be prepared to do so, because it's impossible to buy a lot of ration packs in my country, and I've sourced the one I ate today from eBay. But if you can send me one, I'd be prepared to give it a try. Nothing is off the table. Happy to give it a go. So, until the next one, take care of yourselves. Enjoy your ration packs in whatever way that you're using them. And I will see you again very soon.